Now let's get to talking about the diorama, what it has to offer, how I made it. Well, let's begin with the most important element, which are the soldiers. Of course, they are the main focus. I've got them from Perry Miniatures, their Austrian infantry kit. I think it's from 1796, so the campaign in Italy to 1809, right? Because they still have their helmets over here. Because I think they later on after 1809 they switched to shakos, like the most of the European armies did at this time. But I think that these helmets are just marvelous. Honestly, I really love their design. They were quite hard to paint at times, mainly because of this stripe. Right under the plum, right? These yellow stripes. Individually, they wouldn't be hard, but since there's about 40 of them, right? It just gets quite tedious after you have to do the same detail just again and again, right? The kit was really good. Honestly, I like the set. I think I still have the instruction for it somewhere. The instructions, which I also used this as a reference guide to painting my troopers, right? I think I also chose my regiment here. One of the with the yellow facings, right? I either did the Chasteller Inner Austrian, the Hosias Coburg Moravian. Sorry for my pronunciation. I'm just kind of showing you the things you get in the kit, right? As a bonus, you get basically this leaflet that shows you the equipment. All right, here's the helmet. Yeah, here's the shako. One of the troops has a shako because he's a sapper, right? I am not sure if he should be walking that far behind, right? I am also pretty convinced that he should be kind of in another detachment, right? Maybe one would be assisting. I'm not an expert, right? But I don't think that I placed him correctly here, so I will have to verify that. Also the drummer, yeah, the drummer is also kind of my sin on this diorama because I wanted to place him next to the commander, right? But I placed different troops before and I had to fill the space with something, so that it is what it is, right? I don't really care nowadays. Now, you had also, because I want to talk about the set a little bit, right? The set from which I got the soldiers. You also get the option to build them as Landwehr, right? Militia, which I also think is phenomenal because you have access to these Jaeger caps. I mean, I'm not sure if they're Jaeger caps, I kind of usually I associate them with Jaegers because the most of the uniforms that the Jaegers wear, you see them in similar caps, right? So you have the option to do that. The uniforms, the bodies really are the same, right? They stay the same. You just paint them differently and you give them other headwear, right? But I think that it's cool that you got two options to build them. The one thing I have to say, these models were really static, right? These basically you get only 6 poses per sprue, so this is basically the full potential of this kit. Unless you want to cut them like I did here, you won't get much more possibility out of them, right? I kind of hope that they will have the detachable arms, that they won't be just one solid block, but maybe something more sophisticated. And you get that with the commander. He does have a different arm options, but this is only the commander, the flag bearer, the ensign, and the NCO's head. This is why the NCO is doing this because he's the only one that could, right? Honestly, two NCOs could do that, but you won't get much out of this kit if you want a more fighting, firing formation. This is not the kit for you. I would recommend you something different, but if you just want a marching position like that, yeah, it's perfect because with marching positions like that, all of these details are refined, right? Because they are made to be in that pose, and you don't have any visible mold lines. You don't have anything that would. You don't have to tinker with them in any way, which is a positive and a negative at the same time, right? But I think that this kit was perfect for such a diorama. So I recommend it. You honestly get a pretty good value because I think it was like 46 troopers for like what, 30 pounds, so maybe more. So honestly, just a lot of figures for not that big of a price. I recommend them. Also good proportions, as you can see. I think that these are pretty realistic in a way. I struggled with main Napoleonics because I found them either like exaggerated, like they kind of were too fat. Warlord Games miniatures have this problem. This is Perry, right? This is Perry, which for me is the best. And the Victrix miniatures also has a problem with faces, in my opinion, and overall the bodies, which feel just way too fat. For a standard soldier to just get this such a large belly and be so well fed is, in my opinion, just not very believable. And it's not even the case of believability, but just pure looks. I don't want to have a column of fatties just shambling around, right? Now, it came to building this. It's pretty basic. I don't really use a lot of materials. Just this was just foam, right? XPS foam or whatever it's called. You will find, you can any kind of foam either for interiors or anything, just anything model related or construction related. So this was nothing sophisticated. Yeah, the Perry miniatures kit, which I mentioned previously, the Austrian infantry. All of this like light green grass was AK interactive grass flock spring with some mud patches, right? This was underlined with mud from Citadel, and I also used some flowers over here. They were, I think, the army painter flowers, or something along the lines of that. So, anyways, it took me a few days to do this, maybe a few weeks, right? Because the diorama itself was not a problem. The issue were the soldiers, because it was just repeating the same process again and again, and I kind of wanted to maintain a high standard for them, right? I wanted for them to present themselves in a good way, right? So not all of that, because I still see some issues, like with this. He has the bonnet de police. Sorry, not the bonnet de police. The undress cap, right? He has the kind of the garrison force, right? Because I have lost the helmet for him, and like this cap is just unpainted with his face together, right? They're just both unpainted. Or here you can see that the plum is unpainted, right? There is no golden the golden patch on the helmet, and it's just lacking. So I did kind of put a lot of work into these troopers, but missed out on a few key places. When it came to putting them on the diorama, I kind of just measured a distance between them, right? I wasn't too precise because the formation is almost never possible, especially under artillery fire, to just have a perfect perfect formation, where everyone is in like 5 centimeters of each other, right? So they are kind of in disarray in moments, but I feel like it's kind of organized chaos, right? I don't want to get too fancy with my words here. I'm just saying that I just didn't pay that much attention for them to be like perfectly aligned, right? I also wanted to do some kind of disruption, just kind of some chaos along the lines, right? So I made here the soldier here trying to kind of step out of the formation. The NCO is of course ordering him, right? Returning him to the formation, which is also can be seen here with this NCO trying to push away this soldier from the impact. He very heroic, very you can appreciate that. And basically that was everything. Of course, the build process, it was just kind of repeating the same thing, because I had a plan. I usually painted them in batch of 6, because I didn't really want to like paint 10 at the time at once, because I just kind of get bored of it. So I just painted 6, glued them on, painted the next 6, and repeat until you get this. Also, yeah, of course, the plaque. This I just painted this with a gold paint, right? Glued it on a piece of plastic. I mean, painted it on a piece of plastic and glued the piece of plastic to the foam. So so I think that this label just makes it kind of feel more complete. Yeah, I attach them with super glue, which has its downsides because when they are shoulder to shoulder, they are pretty strong, right? They are, I can move him and he doesn't really snap out of it. But like with kind of lone wolves like this commander, I just feel him slightly coming away each time I touch him. So I shouldn't have done that because now he's weakened even further after I touched him. So I will not do that again. But anyways, this is very sturdy, right? The commander is a problem, but the super glue worked. It's my build process. Honestly, nothing too complicated, but I'm also not a diorama expert. This is my second diorama and my first Napoleonic diorama. So I didn't want to aim for like infrastructure. I wanted to do some infrastructure, but first I just wanted to try out the diorama with a plain field, right? With nothing just special, I don't know if it fits the battlefield of Wagram, right? Or Aspernessling or other battlefields, because I'm pretty sure that the grass there wouldn't be as green as here, right? I feel like since what it was like about it was April, right? So maybe it would get to this point of this kind of color, but I don't feel like I mean, I still kind of used more dried out flowers, right? Maybe not dried out, but still kind of flowers that aren't yet fully developed, right? So on one side, I think that it's a good contrast, right? Because there are still some more beige pieces of grass. Like I like it, but I'm just not entirely sure if it's accurate. I just kind of did it because I thought it looked good, and not because it was the accurate thing. Maybe it is. I will check it out because I honestly I haven't done that much research before this diorama. But I am satisfied with how it turned out, and I'm pretty sure that it's mostly historically accurate.